What's up guys, Glock Guy 226 here, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about carrying a single stack firearm for your everyday carry. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we are back, and like I mentioned, we're going to be talking a little bit about carrying a single stack firearm for your EDC. Now, I carry my Glock 43 probably about 60% of the time that I carry. I carry a gun every single day. I try not to leave the house without having it. I try not to take it off even when I'm at home unless I'm going to bed or getting in the shower, which it's still not very far. So we'll go ahead and safety check the gun. As you guys can see, it is clear, and I do have an empty magazine in there as well. The Glock 43 for me has been an overall great gun, and this isn't a review based on the Glock 43. I'm just going to be using this to represent all single stack firearms. And guys, over the past couple of years, the micro 9s, even the micro 45s and 40s have really become popular, and most guys that are getting into concealed carry tend to go more towards the smaller guns. Now, is that a bad thing? Me personally, I think if you are getting into concealed carry or you just got your permit, you should start off with a mid-size gun, a compact, I guess you would call it, size gun. These are referred to as subcompacts. Something like the Glock 19, the SIG 320s are considered compacts, and I would start off with a bigger size gun than a subcompact, just due to the fact that if you start off with something this small, say you carry it for 3, 6 months, even a year, and then you want to move to something a little bigger, it is going to seem ridiculously uncomfortable. And carrying a gun's not supposed to be the most comfortable thing. It's just supposed to give you that peace of mind, make you feel a little more comfortable, you know, with whatever situations you may be getting into or places you may be going. When I started carrying, I carried my Glock 19 non-stop. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you can get away with that on a day-to-day basis, I think that is great. But there are certain times and certain places where you may need to just go a little more low-key, and that's where these subcompacts really shine, guys. When I have my Glock 43 on, I honestly forget I even have it on most of the time. And not saying that you should be carrying a gun somewhere where you're not allowed to, a gun-free zone, post office, anything like that. Don't break the law, guys. I definitely don't promote you guys doing that. But sometimes we go places where it's just easier if you're completely concealed. And like I mentioned, when I have my 43, I feel completely concealed. I don't have to worry about printing or anything like that. Now, the biggest thing when it comes to guys not liking, the subcompact single stack guns for concealed carry is, of course, capacity. Now, with my Glock 43, it comes from the factory with a 6-round magazine. That's not a lot, I give you that. So my solution to that was these Hive Technologies base plates. Now this is a +1, and I also have a couple +2s. Putting my mags at, this is now a 7-round magazine, so 7 + 1, and then an 8 + 1. So either 8 or 9 rounds at all times, loaded in the gun, ready to roll. And then I also always carry a backup mag. Now, you should always be carrying a backup magazine even if you carry a double stack gun, but especially if you're carrying a single stacked, you definitely need to have a backup mag. When we talk about capacity, so say I have my 2 8-round magazines with me, okay, or 16 rounds total on my person with my EDC. A lot of guys are going to argue that, with the Glock 19, you could have 16 rounds on tap plus your spare mag. Yes, I completely understand that, but the whole point of this, for me at least, is to be completely concealed. One of the bigger things for me is the width of the gun really has a lot to do with how much you're going to print. Yes, if you do run flush mags on, say, your Smith & Wesson Shield or a Glock 43, you're going to print a lot less than you would with mag extensions. But for me, guys, 6 or 7 rounds just really isn't cutting it. Getting 8 or 9 rounds makes me feel a little bit better, and if I can get it out of this without sacrificing too much space, that's good with me. Another thing about these subcompacts, guys, when you are running flush fit magazines, it would basically be the size of this right here. Your pinky does not get on the grip, and man, that just annoys the crap out of me when I have to run a gun and my pinky has nowhere to go. So with running mag extensions, it definitely gives me another round, which is great, but also gives me somewhere to put that pinky while shooting. Now, a few things I highly suggest, though, if you are going to carry a single stack gun, is get out and practice with that thing. And you should be doing this with any gun you carry at all. But what I found is sometimes shooting the smaller guns is a little bit harder to do than shooting your bigger guns. Because everything's smaller, your grip's smaller. You know, when you go to draw this gun from concealment, it is a lot more difficult to draw this from concealment than, say, your Glock 19 or a SIG 320, whatever you may be carrying. Now, the 9s, the 45s that are out right now that are the subcompacts, they're one thing. But I also get a lot of questions about guns like the LCP2, the regular Ruger LCP, and guns that are as small as this. Let's go ahead and safety check the LCP2. And as you guys can see, the LCP2 is clear. I also have an empty magazine in here. Now, with guns this small, guys, there is a lot that comes into play. When I do carry the LCP2, it's more or less in the pocket, you know, concealed away, which this holster from Renaissance Firearms does a great job of being concealed in my pocket. It almost looks like I have my wallet in my front pocket, so you can definitely get away with being completely concealed, and that is a big reason why guys want a gun of this size. Now, there's also guys that want to concealed carry this on a daily basis, and when you get into that, when I get asked the question of would it make a good concealed carry gun, more or less speaking like on a day-to-day basis, I definitely would recommend bumping up to like a Smith & Wesson Shield, Glock 43, something at least of that size. Yes, this thing isn't bad. It's better than having nothing, but at the same time, these are really difficult to shoot compared to even, you know, the subcompact guns. Now, I guess this is considered a subcompact gun, but guys, these are like micro guns, and I do think everybody should have a gun of this size just to be able to conceal in whatever kind of situations you may need to be absolutely 110% concealed. A big reason why I personally bought the LCP2 was we went to a wedding, my wife and I couldn't carry. I could not make it work with the clothes I had, and after carrying every single day for quite some time, I just felt uncomfortable. I didn't like not carrying. So after that wedding, we came home and I was like, I'm going to buy a really small micro gun that I can slip in my pocket and be able to carry at all times. So that's why I rushed out and got this. And guys, this really doesn't get a whole lot of carry. I may carry this once a month, maybe for a couple hours at a time. But this more or less serves the purpose of, like I said, those situations where I have to absolutely conceal and I can't get away with carrying anything bigger than this. So if you guys have anything to chime in on your thoughts on single stack carry, please do so down in the comments below. I really do appreciate all you guys being here. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good night, guys.